So we're done with this topic already. Stockholders and members. So last topic for tonight, mergers, consolidations, and acquisitions. What is merger? How do we distinguish it from consolidation and acquisition? Merger occurs when one corporation is absorbed by another. And this results in the dissolution of the absorbed corporation while okay, the surviving corporation retains its identity. So may dalawang corporation, yung isa nawala kasi nag-merge na dun sa surviving corporation. Now, the surviving corporation assumes all rights, privileges, as well as liabilities of the absorbed corporation, consistent with the Nell doctrine. So example, if Corporation A merges with Corporation B, Corporation B ceases to exist and Corporation A continues. And now Corporation A is liable for all the obligations of Corporation B. How about consolidation? The consolidation process involves two or more corporations whereby all these combining corporations form one new corporation. And in effect, the combining corporations are all dissolved. And what survives only is the new corporation. The new corporation inherits all rights and obligations of the constituent corporations. So for example, if Corporation X and Corporation Y consolidate, they will form, let's say, Corporation Z. Both corporations X and Y, the constituent corporation, cease to exist. Corporation Z now assumes all their rights and liabilities. Now, the effects of consolidation are similar to those of merger. The surviving entity or the new entity will be liable for the obligations of the constituent corporation. Acquisition. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng acquisition in the bar syllabus? While this is not explicitly defined in the revised corporation code, an acquisition typically refers to the purchase of one corporation's assets or shares by another corporation without necessarily merging or consolidating the entities. So acquisition is very broad. It may include mergers or consolidation, or may include situations where one corporation purchases the assets or shares of another corporation without merger or consolidation. So for example, X corporation acquires 100% of the shares of corporation N. Hindi naman sila nag-merge. There is no plan of merger. There is no plan of consolidation. Basta binili niya lang. So in this case, there is acquisition. Not merger, not consolidation. But the effect is very similar to merger, as the acquiring corporation gains control over the operations of the other corporation. Siguro for bar purposes, once na makita na natin na may merger or consolidation, then the presumption is the new corporation or the surviving corporation will assume the liability of the constituent corporations or the absorbed corporation. Okay, let's look at this hypothetical scenario. Corporation A and Corporation B decide to merge. Okay, what steps must they take to ensure compliance with the revised corporation code? Discuss also the implications for their shareholders and creditors. So under section 75 to 79, there's a process, step-by-step process on how corporations could merge. The first step is board approval. The board of directors of each corporation, yung ma-absorb sa kayong absorbing corporation, must draft the so-called plan of merger. Plan of merger. Okay, this plan will outline the terms of the merger, including any amendments to the articles of incorporation of the surviving corporation or the statements required for a new consolidated corporation. So kailangan niyang plan of merger. This is how the merger will actually be done. Okay? Then there is also the requirement of notice, a notice of meeting. A meeting must be called for the stockholders or members of each corporation to approve the merger plan, the merger plan. Notice of this meeting must be sent at least 2 weeks in advance, including a summary of the merger plan. And then, during the meeting, kailangang magkaroon ng stockholder approval. And the voting requirement is the supermajority, 2/3. Okay? Vote, at least 2/3 vote of the outstanding capital stock, or at least 2/3 vote of the members for non-stock corporations. Okay, the next step is execution of the articles of merger. Okay, so nagkaroon ng plano, na-notify yung mga stockholders and members, nagkaroon ng meeting, and during the meeting, there is approval by at least 2/3. Ngayon, ang next step na is gagawa na ng articles of merger. So the articles of merger must be executed by the corporate officers of both corporations, yung magma-merge. This document will serve as the formal agreement of the merger. And then, the articles of merger must be submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission for approval. Kailangan i-submit yan kasi yung SEC will review the documents to ensure compliance with the law. Now, if necessary, hearing will be conducted to see if the merger should be approved. Kailangan lang ng notice to the corporation at least 2 weeks before the hearing. And after that, kung na-approve na ng SEC yan, the SEC will issue a certificate of merger, at which point the merger becomes effective. So to sum up, for merger as well as consolidation, very similar. Okay? Kailangan muna ng board approval ng plan of merger. Board approval of the plan of merger. Magkakaroon ng notice to stockholders or members for the during the meeting, kailangang i-approve ng at least 2/3 yung plan of merger. And then, pag may approval na, articles of merger naman nang execute. The articles of merger will then be submitted to SEC, and then if SEC approves, SEC will issue now a certificate of merger. Now, what is the implication of this merger to shareholders and creditors? As far as shareholders are concerned, the shareholders of both corporations, yung na-absorb saka yung maa-absorb, will have the right to vote on the merger plan. If they dissent, tulad nung nabanggit natin kanina, they can exercise their right of appraisal, allowing them to demand payment for their shares at fair value, thereby leaving their respective corporations. The merger will also affect the value of their shares. Since kung magko-combine yung dalawang entity, then it will affect their share in the corporation. Pwedeng lumiit yung share nila once the two corporations will combine. Now, how will the merger affect also corporate creditors? Mawawala na ba yung liability ng na-dissolve na corporation? Well, answer is, as far as creditors are concerned, they can run after the surviving corporation because the surviving corporation will inherit all liabilities and obligations of the constituent corporation. So the rights of creditors will not be impaired by the merger, ensuring that they can still enforce their claims against the surviving corporation, as if no merger occurred. Now, take note also of the implication of merger, consolidation, and acquisition in or under the Philippine Competition Act. The Philippine Competition Act, RA 10667, regulates mergers, consolidations, and acquisitions to prevent anti-competitive practices. So there is a threshold value, if I'm not mistaken, I cannot give the exact value. So there is a value, okay, na pag ang acquisition or merger will consist of 2 billion. I hope the value is correct, but you can check it later. Kung ma-meet nila yung threshold na yan, there is what we call a notice requirement. Meaning the parties to the merger or acquisition must notify the Philippine Competition Commission if the transaction meets the value. So notification to the PCC, Philippine Competition Commission, okay, dun sa merger or acquisition. Kung hindi nila i-notify yung PCC, then ma-invalidate yung merger or acquisition. Take note also of the anti-competitive mergers. The Philippine Competition Act prohibits mergers or acquisitions that substantially prevent, restrict, or lessen competition in the relevant market. Okay. So by way of conclusion, merger and consolidation, okay, involve several critical steps that ensure compliance with the revised corporation code. Both merger and acquisition, they bring about a situation where the surviving corporation or the new corporation will inherit all the rights as well as the liabilities of the constituent corporations. Now in the syllabus, na-mention yung asset-only transfer and the business enterprise transfer. So alam na natin nangyayari sa merger, consolidation, and acquisition. But a legal issue would arise. Sino ang magiging liable in case of transfer of assets or in case of transfer of the business itself? So ano itong tinatawag na asset-only transfer at yung business enterprise transfer? An asset-only transfer refers to the sale, lease, exchange, mortgage, pledge, or other disposition of a corporation's property and assets without transferring the corporation's liability. So sa asset-only transfer, walang transfer of corporate liability from the seller to the buyer corporation. This is governed by Section 39 of the Corporation Code. For an asset-only transfer, meaning transfer not done in the ordinary course of the business, you need the following steps. Number one, approval of the board, majority vote of the board of directors or trustees. Now, if the transfer falls under transfer of all or substantially all corporate assets, aside from approval of the board, kailangan rin ng approval ng stockholders or members representing at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock or the membership. Now, in an asset-only transfer, yung asset lang ang nililipat mo. You're not transferring the liability to the transferee corporation unless the transaction involves explicitly the transfer also of liabilities. Take note also of the net asset value test, the determination of whether the transfer involves substantially all assets is based on the corporation's net asset value. So again, in an asset-only transfer, there is no transfer of liability, only asset. Yeah, that's the name, asset-only transfer. Iba yan sa business enterprise transfer. You are transferring already the enterprise to another entity. This is encapsulated in Section 40 of the Code that addresses the transfer of all or substantially all assets of the corporation to another entity, and this transfer inherently includes the assumption of the transferor's liability by the transferee. So this principle ensures that when a corporation transfers its business, hindi lang assets, but business, that corporation will not escape its liability to the creditors. This doctrine is crucial in maintaining the integrity of corporate transactions and protecting the rights of creditors. So let's ask a direct question. What are the implications of transferring all or substantially all assets of a corporation under the revised corporation code? Rule under section 40, the transfer of all or substantially all assets of a corporation carries with it the assumption that the transferee carries with it the assumption of the transferor's liability by the transferee. So it carries with it the transfer also of the liabilities from the transferor to the transferee. Like in YI Leisure, I don't know if that's how we pronounce it, Philippines Incorporated versus U 2015, Supreme Court ruled that the petitioners who acquired the assets of the transferor corporation also inherited its liabilities. This ruling was based on the understanding that the transferee corporation continued the business of the transferor, thus making it liable for the debts incurred by the latter. So tignan natin yung case na to. If the transferee, yung acquiring corporation, continues the business of the transferor corporation, then the liability is transferred to the transferee. Corporate creditors can run after the transferee. Take note of the Nell Doctrine. Nell Doctrine, which is the doctrine referring to the business enterprise transfer. Okay? Under the Nell Doctrine, this is a legal principle stating that the transferee corporation, okay, will not be liable for the debts of the transferor unless, okay, there is an express assumption of liabilities, there is consolidation or merger, if the purchase was in fraud of creditors, and if the purchaser becomes a continuation of the seller. So the transferee becomes liable only when it continues the business of the transferor. So the last situation, continuing the business of the transferor, that pertains to the business enterprise transfer. So magiging liable lang, okay, para hindi tayo malito, magiging liable lang yung transferee corporation if the transfer would include continuation of the business of the transferor.